Okay, great. So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Lunch and Learn about Future Ready People Leadership Development. Just a few housekeeping rules before we do get started. I want to remind everybody to make sure that your microphones are off so that we can hear the speakers clearly. This meeting will be recorded for onboarding purposes as well as for people who couldn't make it here today. And there will be a Q&A session held at the very end of the session. This session should run probably about half an hour. Um, and at the end, you'll have a chance to unmute your mics and ask a question for our speakers if you have one. So as we begin, we'd like to begin with the land acknowledgement statement. We will begin the session by acknowledging that we are meeting on Indigenous land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. As settlers, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, as we gather here, there have been Indigenous peoples who have been the stewards of this place. And now I'd like to introduce our two speakers for today. We have Marcy Rule, who is a Business Development Officer for the Mohawk College Enterprise. She serves clients in Hamilton, Halton, and Niagara areas. She has over 20 years of experience in training and design and facilitation. Marcy was the instructional designer in 2015 when the City of Hamilton put together our first group of planning and economic development participants into a customized Future Ready leadership program, and she has been an advocate for leadership development ever since. We also have Audie McCarthy, who is the president and CEO for Mohawk College Enterprise. She has a long-standing relationship with the City of Hamilton for many years, whether it's in the role of a facilitator, instructional designer, and most importantly, relationship builder. Audie and Marty Hazel both participate in a leadership forum with other industry leaders as they built a great relationship through that network. Audie has been instrumental in ensuring the training for PED and makes sure that the program is of the highest quality. Her personal values of integrity, goal-oriented excellence, along with her experience in the corporate world, make her an exemplary leader for Mohawk College Enterprise. And now I will pass over the microphone to Audie.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. And I'm just going to take a few minutes of your time. I think most of you probably know who Mohawk College Enterprise is, or MCE, as I'm sure many of you have been on a number of our leadership programs in the past. But just a little quick reminder, we are the corporate training subsidiary of Mohawk College, 100% owned by the college. But we do operate as our own corporation. And the reason for that is so that we can provide services to you, our clients, in a faster and in a more customized manner. So again, we've worked with the city for many, many years. Way back when I actually did customer service training for a number of years. And so it's been my pleasure to continue to work with all of you at the city as well. I just wanted to share our corporate values with you before we get started. And the reason for doing this is because these are our commitments to you as our customer. Client-centric, obviously we want to focus on the best experience for you, whether that's in working with us to build the program or whether that's in participating with the program. It really is one of our values to focus on delivering that best experience for you. Our commitment to excellence, we are not always perfect, but we certainly strive for that. And we really do try to deliver the quality products and services. We have a number of different checkpoints, et cetera, throughout our instructional design process, as well as the facilitation process to make sure that we're doing this as well. Integrity, we do what we say we're going to do. Equity, access and equal opportunity for everyone. And we value the contribution of diverse perspectives. And like everyone, we're working extremely hard to make sure that we can meet these commitments. We do like to foster inclusive learning while, again, making sure that everyone feels respected and valued. That's really critical to us. So again, sharing our values so that you know that what our commitment is to you. as our client and as our wonderful customer that you've been for many, many years. And we want you to hold us accountable to these. So if you find throughout the process that some of these we're not achieving to a level that we desire or that you desire from us, please hold us accountable, and we'll make sure that we course correct to make sure that we're standing up to our values and our commitment to you.
Thank you, Audie. So thank you, Audie and Sylvia, for that great introduction. So back in 2018, I think prior to developing the course, we worked with the city and human resources to make sure we were matching the program and customizing it. So this program, Audie and I sat down with sticky notes all over the place and customized this program. So it is developed for you, and in particular, with a focus on open for business. Because again, we need leaders at the city who have that open for business mindset. And again, that is something that PED is proud of, that you have that. And you want to keep striving to have that open for business. So the key themes of the program, first of all, is let's be open for business. And what does that mean? You're going to work on a project. So you're going to learn about project management. And your project will be based on something that helps PED be open for business. Innovation. I think we've all learned that through COVID, innovation is so very important. So we want to continue to stretch your innovation capabilities. And the last one, which is really important, and I know this is important to Jason, is relationship building. Getting back to working together, and how do our departments interconnect? How can we help each other? And I think that was one thing that the last group that participated in 2019 learned about, was how important it was to learn from each other and work in diverse groups and share ideas. And those people still go back to each other. The other thing we wanted to ensure with this program is that we incorporated the city's core competencies and behaviors. So again, about achieving results, having that customer focus, making sure they're the primary person you're taking care of. Innovation and adapting to change. Teamwork. And you'll see these themes, these competencies as we look through the days in the program. Having effective communication. Making sure you're staying on budget, financial effectiveness. So when you're doing your project, you're going to have to do a budget. Make sure you're staying in scope. Being personally accountable. And having the commitment to your organization, the City of Hamilton. People leadership. It's so important. And that's one of the things that's built in. You will see leadership themes stream throughout the program. And health and safety and wellness. And we know how important that is these days, that we are open, and as a leader, we're listening to our people. So the first day of the program is a great day. What we do is we bring in different divisions within PED, and we invite the alumni, and you go around and learn about different departments, things that you didn't know. Maybe you don't know about LRT. Maybe you don't know about, the music venues and all those things that each division is doing. What are they doing? They'll teach you about that. They'll talk about it. And they share what they're going through, and you get to meet the leaders in those different divisions. And then you get your project assignment in the afternoon. So we teach a little bit about projects, and then you will be assigned a team and a project to work on throughout the program. Day 2, we learn about initiating and planning a dynamic open for business project. So again, you're going to learn those project fundamentals. What's a work breakdown structure? What's scope? What are all these things I need to know to do my project? You're going to look at the importance of project meetings and keeping to your timeline and your budget. Those are very valuable things to learn, and you need to know that up front. So when you're working on your project, to ensure you're taking care of this. Leading with emotional intelligence. This is one of Marty's favorite courses, and he always talks about emotional intelligence. And again, and I know Rob felt that was really important as well when we were doing the program last time, that you're self-aware and socially aware with others and your internal and external customers. You have to know that. So we base it on Daniel Goleman's theory of emotional intelligence. Day 4, you have to plan and execute your project. So again, there's different steps within the project management process that you have to do. So you're going to start working on it. And as you learn pieces, what's really great is we allocate a bit of time in the class for you to work on that on your real project. So again, it's teaching you a concept and then the application. We really value the application part. It is very, very important. So you'll see, we'll push you to do things in between each session so that you're building on those topics that were taught. This is a new one we've added, leading in a crisis. And again, crisis is not all about COVID. There are many crises that can come up in any organization, that things that can happen. So how are you going to lead through that and do that properly? Creating a culture of innovation, another one that we added in. So how are we going to have that be innovative while we're being open for business? What can we do to make it better for that customer, those people of the city? Creating accountability through respectful leadership. This is one I know that Jason values very much, and it's about accountability through coaching, but also how do I give feedback and receive feedback? It's tough to give feedback, yet as a leader, that's part of your role. And you will learn to do it and practice again. So we'll have application. How are you going to go and do that with your employees? So you might get to practice in the classroom. And we like to call it practice, not role play. Building relationship with council. This is a really big one. And what we did last year, which I really, really liked, is we brought in 3 counselors and also Marty, Hazel, and we talked about the importance of building those relationships with counselors. How do you get to know them? Follow them on Twitter, different avenues that you can get to know them. Because again, they're going to be bringing things to you. And as Marty calls it, how do you manage that second floor? You want to be able to do that. And you want to build those relationships with the council. And it looks like you may have some new council coming up and maybe even a new leader. Planning your leadership journey. This one is one of my favorite days in the program because we go through what you've learned in all the other days, and then you get the opportunity to review for yourself and develop a leadership plan. So you do a SWOT analysis on yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? And what are those threats that might get in your way? You then say, out of all these things, and reflecting on what I knew in the beginning and to where I am today in the program, what are 1 or 2 things I'm going to work on? We don't ask you to put down 10 because then you can't accomplish that. The goal is to put down 2. Then you build on that and you go back to your leader and you share your leadership development plan. And what we will encourage you to do through each day of the program is go back to your leader and talk about what you learned. What did you learn? How are you going to start applying that in the job? What do you need help with? That's the important part is you need to go back to your leader and say, hey, I learned this. What do you think? And then the best day of all is the last day, where you get to present your amazing projects and all the hard work you did. You present them, you talk about what went well, what were the challenges, what would you do differently maybe, and then you talk about where it's going to go going forward. And then we have a panel in the afternoon where we invite different industry leaders. We may have people from the city and we may have people from outside the city, and they talk about their experiences in leadership. And it's a very valuable session to learn from other leaders who've gone through things. And things that went well, things they do differently. And they're honest and candid about that. And that helps you learn. And then, of course, the celebration. We want to celebrate all the hard work you put in this leadership learning journey. It's a long 10-session program. So you want to celebrate the hard work that you put in, and we want to celebrate you. I'm just going to share a little video, and it's of me again. So you don't get a change from me, and it's just on some of the feedback from the program. Here's some feedback we received from the Open for Business Future Ready Leadership Program delivered in 2019. It was an amazing day, one of the best all-day training sessions I've been to. The facilitation style and the way the agenda was structured kept everyone engaged and maintained a good pace throughout the day. Excellent. Was great to have previous participants, city representatives, available to meet. Overall, 5 stars. The top things that I enjoyed were the toothpick and marshmallow team building challenges, class discussions with Bob about leadership, working on our charter, and project advisor check-in. People felt comfortable to engage in meaningful discussion. This is a credit to the facilitator for creating the environment and to the program designer for creating a good structure to the day that allowed for some discussion. Great session. Course materials excellent. Delivery of materials was stellar. Food was great. Location was great. Can't ask for anything more. Fantastic session with Terry. Great views from the private sector. Extremely valuable to have private company planner come in to highlight positives and negative aspects of Open for Business. And I continue to be impressed by the Future Ready Leadership Open for Business program. I am thoroughly enjoying my time with my group and our project objective. The material is engaging and the delivery is exceptional. This program is a must-take for anyone looking to further develop their interpersonal working relationships and skill sets. So just to reiterate, one thing that we did do, and Sylvia and Rob and I will definitely meeting about bringing in guest speakers. We brought in Terry Johns, a building planner from Terry Johns Consulting, and she was absolutely fantastic. She shared some of the challenges she had, she shared the good things, and she was candid and open, and people really found the value in that. So again, we'll work on where we bring in specific speakers, just even for 45 minutes, an hour, to just help have another voice to the content that you're going to learn. So is there any questions that you have? Sylvie, would you suggest I stop sharing my screen, or should I just leave it as is?
Sure, Marcy, you can stop sharing your screen, and maybe in the meantime, as people start putting their hands up, maybe I'll share some more information in terms of how do we all sign up for this amazing program? Because I'm sure everybody's wondering. Um, so the process is basically that this program runs every 2 years. Because of COVID, we are in a little bit of a delay. Um, it was stressed that this program is ideally run in person, which is why it's been delayed. It will be starting in the fall, though. We're looking at October start date. And so those things are just getting worked out currently behind the scenes. But how do you apply? How do you get started? Who is eligible? So this program is only for people leaders, so those who are in the roles of leading teams in PED. So it's a specific department-only program for our PED leaders, as well as people who might have a portfolio that spans across the department and touches different departments as well. So if you're unsure if you're eligible, feel free to give Rob and I an email. Let us know if you have somebody on your team maybe that's interested, and we can help you with that. I know there's a lot of people leaders here who have been through the program already. If you guys have someone on your teams that fits that role, is looking for that type of development, um, the first step is basically put it in your PAD. Make sure it's in there under your learning and development plan. And after that, we're thinking in a couple of weeks, we will be releasing a application where the staff would write why they're interested in the program, what they're looking for, and they must be supported and endorsed by their director to put their application forward. Another point that Rob had mentioned, that we have to stress that this program is only open to 16 participants. So it's highly popular, it's very competitive. Make sure your applications are very detailed and you have that support from your management team as well. It's only 16 people for the whole department, and it's running every 2 years. I think that's about all the information that I have for now, but maybe someone has a question, and we can help answer those. So I'm going to ask that if someone has a question, please raise your hand and unmute your microphone when you're called, and you can go ahead and ask your question. So I don't see any hands up. I am going to check the chat box as well. We have George. Just a suggestion. Graham Cubitt Indewell would be a great guest speaker. That is a good idea. And I think there's a PED Eats coming up in the next little while with one of his properties there. So thanks for the suggestion, George.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, well, it doesn't look like we have any questions. So the next steps are essentially that in the next coming weeks, there will be an email going out, and along with the application. We do have a question here that came in from Judy. Judy's asking, should interested staff submit application directly to their manager or to the director? So I think the idea is that they put in their PAD first and then to their manager, but the director has to sign off on it and endorse the staff member um, to participate in the program. Rob, I did see your hand up. Did you have anything else to add?
No, I was just going to answer that question, but you answered it ahead of me, so that's great. Thank you.
And I see a question from Sarah, the time commitment. So again, it's going to be 10 full days of training in class, and that'll be from about 8:30 to 4. And also you will have to work on a project outside of training time. So just keep that in mind, that you will have to get together with your groups and work on those projects.
Rob, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I just want to clarify Audie's comment. Marcy's comment there. It's not 10 days in a row because this program runs over
Yes.
10 months. Is it 10 months? I can't remember what the schedule is exactly, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's about, I think we do between October and December, we have 5 sessions, 2 in October, 1 in November, 1 in December. I think there's 4, sorry. And then we go January, February, March, and April. So
Yeah.
so it's not 10 in a row. There's some staggering, about 3 weeks to a month in between each.
Yeah, I didn't want staff to panic to figure that they had to be away from their desk
Yes.
for 10 full days because most of us can't be away 10 full days in a row. So yeah, it does run across anywhere from 8 to 10 months. We're still working out that schedule, and you do meet twice a month. There is that project and other works that you have to get together with your group outside of the classroom. But it is spread out nicely so that way staff can actually leave their work, attend this program, and get back to their work.
Good question. Thanks, Sarah. We have another question here from Melanie. She asks, since the program has been delayed a few years, is there a possibility that it would be held again next year as well?
I'll leave that to Rob.
I was thinking of the answer for that. I'd be happy to run it every year if we could. We'll have to see how much interest there's going to be this year. And then I'm sure we could bring a case forward to DLT and see if we could run a makeup year for the years that we've lost there due to COVID. So definitely good suggestion, Melanie. Thank you.
I have a question here coming in from Abdul.
Yes,
Does
Abdul,
this program, does this program qualify for professional development unit for PMP certification?
it wouldn't under the project management piece, no. You maybe could put in your hours, but I don't think it would be a qualifier, no.
Okay, I'm not seeing any hands, and I think those are all the questions. If anybody has another question that they think of after the session, feel free to submit it to myself or Rob, and we'll definitely get an answer back to you. So I think that brings us to the end of the session. I'd like to thank everybody for being a great audience, and I'd really like to thank Audie and Marcy for your time today out of your busy schedules to come in and talk about this exciting program. Um, so for the next steps, keep an eye out for those applications being sent out and the deadlines as well. And the start date will be in October. And looking forward to seeing the applications in. So thank you, Marcy. Thank you, Audie. And thanks, everybody. Have
Thank
a great
you.
afternoon.
Have a great day.
Bye now.